The thing that is so distinctive about Kai is his freedom and his insistence in playing in all these different games at once and his sort of constant innovation. You know, you think of creative freedom as being something separated from discipline. I think Kai is like one of the most disciplined athletes I've ever heard of. This is a guy who trains more than anybody else, harder than anybody else. You know, he's still quite a young man, but he's not that young. He's like, this is a guy who was world champion stand-up paddler, many times over. He could have like retired on those laurels. He's already had like many once in a lifetime achievements. He could have just said, I'm done. Not only did he keep pushing, he like switched into entirely different sports, and he's doing that again. Kai is already one of the all-time greats at big wave surfing. There's no question about that.
Life of Kai, season 2, take 1. Looking back on this winter, I would say it was my best winter yet. I think we had one of the most iconic big wave winters since my career in big wave surfing began. And 12 years of surfing really big waves, it almost took that long for me to get comfortable to actually do what I've always dreamt of doing. I was able to ride waves that I hadn't ridden before on a scale that was so much bigger than it typically is. All of a sudden, I was enjoying it more than ever, and even the bad moments, like getting caught inside by the biggest waves I've ever seen, that was all of a sudden an experience because of what I learned and what I saw. Every single year I've spent out at Jaws and all these big waves around the world, I've always been like uncomfortable, kind of questioning why I'm doing it, because you're putting your life in danger for what? Just to impress somebody, or do you really love doing it? I ended up battling in my head about that a little bit, but I realized I was always doing it for the right reasons because I actually love to do it. This is who I am, this is what I do, this is what I love to do. No longer was I scared of the outcome of my session, I was just scared of what I was about to attempt. My takeaway from it all was confidence, experience, and moments that'll be ingrained in my brain for the rest of my life.
Oh my God!
Life of Kai season 2 is everything season 1 had, just gone up 100 levels. Bigger waves, bigger wipeouts, more carnage, more fun. This is Coda. Coda Bear! Ow, Coda! This is Noodle. Noodle was making a run for it. Noodle, did you go explore a little bit? Hi, Noodle. Hello. Coming off such an insane big wave season, 2020, the pandemic hit and everything just shut down. No traveling. I was kind of cemented here in Maui, which is arguably one of the best places to have been during all of that. Felt like a much needed rest, to be honest. It was time to reflect, time to let the entire past catch up with me and try to figure out what the next step would be. I really took that time to train as hard as I could and try to like figure out as an athlete, what is it something I could do to remain relevant without competition, without traveling. October comes around. You think it's gonna be a nice warm up into some bigger waves. Hawaii hadn't produced any waves up to this point, and all of a sudden on the map, the biggest swell anyone's ever seen is coming to Nazaré, Portugal. This is my boardroom. And this is where there's a ton of gear everywhere, boards everywhere, heavy boards too. This is one of the boards I'm taking to Nazare. This is gonna be the perfect warm-up before my trip. Come on, Coda. Get out of here. The final day of being here on Maui before heading to Nazaré, Portugal. And I think the best idea is to take the jet skis out and warm up. So right now we're driving down to the harbor. We're gonna launch my jet ski. We're eating on the go because literally time is of the essence. It is beautiful. The wind's probably gonna come up, which doesn't really matter to us, but we want the drive up the coast to the wave we're going to be smooth.
So you are completely asymptomatic. You have no symptoms, no fever, no cough, no running nose, no scratchy throat, no body aches, nothing like that, right?
Nope, none of that. I feel better than I did like all month.
Unfortunately, I think you are
grounded
bound for the moment.
All right, thanks, bye.
Okay, all right, bye.
My COVID test came back positive, apparently. The first one was negative, and then the second one came back, so I can't go. Everything's screwed.
You're joking. Right?
I'm not joking. Oh my God, dude, sponge! So I can't go to Nazaré. If I only took that blood test, I probably would have been fine. I felt absolutely devastated. I had been training all summer long. I knew if I missed a swell like this, I would regret it the rest of my life. I'm like, there's no way I got COVID because I'd been inside for a couple weeks, and I gotta prove that this is a false test. So I was able to get 3 COVID tests, clear them all because I was negative, and get on the phone with one of the top health officials from Hawaii. Because I had those 3 tests that were cleared, I was able to go. And I was off to Europe. So we just checked in. That was pretty easy, actually. I mean, as you can see, the airport here is just empty. I haven't been to the airport in who knows how long. I'm glad my brother, who's behind the camera, is coming with me. It's nerve-wracking. The waves are gonna be gigantic. Last one's on the plane. Finally making it off of Maui and traveling across the world, I ended up in Portugal, and I was concerned I was just gonna get turned right around. When I got up to immigration and the gentleman asked me, "Why are you here? Like, there's a global pandemic." I'm here to surf Nazaré. I wanna ride the biggest wave of my life. Second to Cristiano Ronaldo in Portugal is probably Nazaré. He literally looked at me and he said, "Be safe, good luck." Stamped it, and I went through. Nazaré has definitely cemented itself as one of the prime big waves on planet Earth. Every time it breaks, I feel like I have to be there.
Hi, Lenny. Look at that right. That is a massive wall of water.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Wow, that was huge. Yes, Kai.
Congratulations to Kai Lenny.
Coming off of a big win at Nazaré, but then having a very flat summer, you question your abilities.
What's up, Kai?
In that event, 2020, teamed up with Lucas, one of the most confident riders out there. I was the most confident I had ever been. But it's amazing how a summer can bring you back down to earth and make you realize, well, did I get lucky? Okay. You know it's getting big when the sun goes away and the dark, mystical cloud comes in from way out to sea. The size of the waves were significantly bigger than the contest. I went from surfing knee-high waves on the South Shore of Maui. All of a sudden I was going 50 miles an hour down an 80-foot wave. This was survival surfing.
Old school bumping cheesy, count me a bank roll. Flexing on my haters, getting blown like a saxophone. Only deal with women with credit and talking millions. She bout it and bout her business, ain't entertaining no week. Sometimes you gotta flex to remind them, step their game up, elevate their fashion, dream big and never change up. Flexing on my haters, going places, changing time zones. You can hate, I'ma let you hate, I get my shine on.
The waves are huge.
Hit the club and I flex, you flex, I flex, you flex. Hit the gram and I flex, you flex, I flex. Hey, they can't stand the way we flex, I flex, you flex. So, hit the club and I flex, you flex, I flex. Hit the mall and I flex, you flex, I flex. Hit the gram and I flex, you flex, I flex.
It's early in the morning, and every 30 seconds or so, the ground is shaking. It's really, really big, I think. Hopefully everything goes well and catch some more bombs. Yesterday was insane, and I can only hope to catch waves bigger than what I got, but I'm grateful with what I got so far. That being said, I want to perform the best I can. Yeah, right. It's time to get ready. All ready, bro. There should be.
How many?
Just 4? Awesome, thank you.
Radio, channel.
7. Oh my God! Oh my God! It's breaking so far out at sea. I feel like big waves sort of choose you. If you're in the right place at the right time and your intentions are right, it's all gonna come into fruition. But when I showed up to that boat ramp, the intensity was just insane. The fact of the matter was, I think people felt like they needed to go out there and prove that they were gonna ride the biggest wave ever. Okay, we're down at the harbor, walking to the jet ski right now. It's as big as I've ever seen it. I mean, I've never seen the waves break so far out to sea. I don't think anybody has. The big mama has just awoken, so probably the biggest waves of our lives right now. Oh my God. Look at that. Look how far it's breaking out, dude. Oh my God. Wow. Look at this one. The waves were so gigantic. I've never seen waves bigger than that. The spray alone from these waves hitting the cliff were going another 150 feet in the air. There was 20, 30,000 people on the cliff. The hype was who's gonna ride the 100-foot wave. In a way, it felt like a competition in itself. And I wasn't there to buy into that. You know, it wasn't my end-all be-all goal. I wanted to go out there and I wanted to rip. I wanted to ride waves like no one else could ride these big waves. And I wanted to do it safely. But when I got out there, you know, you can't help but buy into the hype a little bit. I started to feel that competition of like, oh, I really want to ride the biggest wave to come through. I got to be in the spot. And sometimes that kind of nerfs your whole approach. You know, being in flow state with the ocean is what is so important. And I felt like the ocean was going against me because I was going against myself.
Which way? Left? Yeah.
When you're going through a wipeout out there, it's almost hard to describe. It's like getting hit by a semi-truck, holding your breath, and then getting beaten up by guys with 15 crowbars. And the entire time you have to relax. Like, it's the only way to preserve oxygen in your body is don't kick, don't swim. You've got an inflation vest, relax. But relaxing when the whole world is crumbling on top of you is a hard thing to do. So that takes mental training, mental fortitude. And that was 12 years of experience up to that point, trying to hone in my skills for a moment like that. You reach a certain point where you can't feel anymore. It's just static, like a TV that is just static sound, you know, visual. There's nothing really there. It's just making that noise. And that's what it feels like. My eyes like can't absorb anymore because they're being pressed so hard. My ears can't hear anymore. My nerve endings can't feel anymore because it's being pressed so hard. So you almost go through the pain and you feel nothing except for static. That's what's crazy, is that it can't get much worse because I wouldn't be able to feel any more.
Woo!
It's the consequence of riding these big waves that you gotta pay to play eventually. And I've gotten away with a lot. I had the wipeout. And for me, I trained my entire life for this. I wasn't gonna not go back out after going through that. If anything, it gave me confidence in myself that I can handle it. Being calm when waves want to tear you into pieces, that's when you're gonna get the best performance. And for the rest of the day, I got my better big waves. Every single big wave surfer out there is looking for that proverbial biggest wave ever ridden. And I can remember towing Carlos into what I thought was probably the biggest wave I was ever gonna tow him into. And I see Carlos's face and his eyes go boom. I knew something terrifying was coming. And I look over my shoulder and I see a wave so big that it dwarfed anything up to that point I've ever seen. It was massive. And it was actually a surprise to me when I was witnessing it that no one was on it. I would call it even bigger than 100 feet. It seemed like 115, but the wave wasn't captured. The footage doesn't exist. Yeah. Seeing a wave that big was proof that the monster does exist. And I can only hope I'm in the right place at the right time to ride one of those waves. And who knows if it'll happen in my career, in my lifetime. I have a feeling that my biggest wave has yet to come, and I'm looking forward to the day I get to ride it.
Dance after no session.
Actually, that was the end was more intense than the waves. I was like, oh, surfing's easy. We were having fun. It was awesome. I think the outcome of that entire swell, my standards were so high, I didn't really rip the way I wanted to. But when I was on the plane home, I thought there's no better way I could have ever started a season than riding immediately the biggest waves I've ever seen. My scale of what big waves really were was changed forever. And learning from my mistakes, learning from new experiences, I was ready to take it all on. I was ready for the biggest winter of my life.
Yeah, Lord, take my hand.
When December came around and Jaws lit up, the entire surfing world was converging, and I knew I wanted to sit deeper, ride a bigger wave, and get more barrel than anyone. With fear, you can make a choice. Either let it debilitate you, or you can take it and use it as your superpower. It's all up to me to just do what I've been dreaming of doing for so long, but haven't done it yet.